All right, before we start diving into techniques, I'm gonna go over what we're using today. So we've got the Faltimer cube. Inside I have Teufelberger Dynaglide and a 14-ounce throw weight. To my right over here, I've got my pop-up box, FTC Throwline, FTC stiff line, 1.6 mil, 14-ounce throw weight. I generally like to throw 14 ounces. They've worked for me. I can get them to work. You know, just my happy medium. Okay, before we begin throwing anything into whatever tree, we gotta attach this to this. And we're gonna talk about two different methods that I think are the most effective. If there's better ways, let us know down in the comments. But first one we're gonna talk about is the slippery 8, okay? Slippery 8 is relatively easy to tie. It's almost effortless, really. So you're gonna take your bitter, pass through that D-ring, whatever desired length you choose to go with, okay? So I'm kind of pinching here so that I don't backtrack my progress. And I'm gonna do just a figure 8, okay? And now before I can actually finish it, my bad. Before I can actually finish it, so I've got my 8, I'm just gonna pass a bite down through the bottom here instead of passing the bitter all the way through, hence giving me the slippery action, okay? Slippery action. So right about there, and now you can adjust this however you want, okay? I'm gonna leave it like that. Tighten it down a bit, and that's it, you're ready to go. So that's your slippery 8 method. Now, this is really, really convenient, especially if you need to take the throw weight off real fast. If you've overshot and you need to take the throw weight off so that when you pop back out, there's no damage to any targets around. Super easy to pop through. So you're gonna take your bitter, pull, 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 pull. Look at that. She unraveled. That's it, okay? Next method we're gonna talk about, I'm gonna drop that for a second because it is the bowline. And the bowline goes through, attach it via girth hitch. We'll do it slow-mo right now for you. We're gonna take the, sorry. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna tie just a standard bowline right here, okay? And for the loop of the bowline, leave it large enough so that you can still pass the throw weight through that loop with ease. You don't wanna struggle to be able to take that off, on and off, whatever. So if you were to kind of gauge it out, and you can adjust this as you need to. So right now I'm just gonna tie a regular bowline. There's nothing special about it going on. That's a little too short for me for now. So I'm gonna go up a little higher. Rabbit goes out, rabbit goes back in there, and it goes back down through the hole that the rabbit came out of. Oh, that's right, we did the rabbit talk. So now this may be a little bit too large, but we can always fix that. Now, you've got your bowline. That bowline goes through, and it's gonna engulf the throw weight. See what I mean? You want it large enough so you can slip the whole throw weight through it, and then choke back to itself. Okay? Now, we're gonna talk about taking this girth hitch bowline method off the throw weight, because a lot of times what I see out in the field is if somebody has this, especially mine when I throw them, and I have this method of attachment to it, they'll come over, they'll look at it, and they'll pull, and then they try and push the throw weight out the back end, and that just creates another loop that you don't want. So whenever you're going to take this off, find that portion of the girth that goes on top of both legs, so not behind it like that. So I call this the back side of the girth. The front side of the girth is this guy right here that's above, in front of both of these. And now I'm gonna pull this towards me, and my throw weight is gonna go up and through, okay? So now it comes out. And now we're gonna start throwing. Let's get it. So first things first, what we're gonna start to do here is we're gonna take a bite. We're gonna pass it through the D-ring. That's right, we're gonna go over the classic the grandpa shot. Okay, so as you noticed, I'm gonna redo it real quick. So I have my throw line string, my throw line tied off via girth hitch with the bowline. I know a lot of people like to do slip knots, figure 8 slip, whatever works for you. This has always worked for me the best. So up here a ways, I'm gonna take and create a bite with the throw line. That bite is what gets passed through the D-ring here of the throw weight. And now you're ready to go, okay? One thing you want to notice, or you want to pay attention to, is your throw cube placement. So my bite is actually on my right hand, and the throw line that feeds back into the cube is on my left. There's a reason why I do that, and there's a reason why you should pay attention to it, okay? If I am throwing like this, notice that everything is clean. There's nothing crossed, nothing's going around the throw weight, nothing's bouncing around. If I did not pay attention to this placement, and I left this cube on my right, okay, one thing that you're gonna have here is you're gonna have cross up. You wanna avoid that crossover because it could potentially hurt you as you're throwing. Okay, so if I didn't switch my hands around and I'm just doing this, notice how you've got that cross right there, which could potentially just screw up your shot, especially if you're trying to hold on to this and going through the throw cube, back to the throw cube, in case you're shooting around targets, homes, cars, sheds, whatever, you name it, okay? Power lines, whatever. There's placement is what you should be paying attention to here. Another thing you need to pay attention to is how long of a basket you actually create, okay? So I do see a lot of people that are beginning to throw, they throw this like this, okay? Short little, never worked for me unless it's a super low shot that I'm not trying to shoot right to the right to my main branch unit at the center. Mainly just something low. If it's a quick up, one cut, come back down, okay? That's usually when, and it's really rare if I do it that way. I tend to create a longer basket and begin to get my pendulum going, okay? So I do have my index finger is what's catching here, and I'm pinching with my thumb. Now, I'm trying to get this nice, easy motion going, okay? Don't try and drag, okay? Don't keep your arms fully extended because this is what you're gonna get. You're just dragging it on the ground, okay? If that happens, you'll get a little bit of twist in your throw line. Allow it to settle back to straight, and we're gonna begin again. We're gonna commence. So we're just moving our arms up, in and out, in and out. We're not fully extending. And now, when you're gonna shoot, you're getting your motion going, you're getting your motion going. And when you go to shoot, some people will release too soon. It darts right across like a dart, or they'll shoot ground to sky where it just goes and comes back down, okay? What you want to try and envision is using your fingers as your sight. 1, 2, and I'm gonna release when I'm towards the branch union that I want. Practice, okay? I'm gonna say that a lot. Practice, practice, practice is what's gonna help you here. And even if you practice every single day, there are gonna be days where you're 50-50. Your shots are either on that day, money, or they're just straight caca, okay? So, bite through the D-ring. We're gonna try and go for this branch union. It's super low. But again, notice it's a steady pendulum motion. None of this. Okay, you wanna get in a rhythm. You wanna get in that groove. Up, back, up, and we're gonna release, and it goes into the branch union. Now you're free to clean everything up. Now, next thing I'm gonna talk about within the same area is when you're pulling up, whether it's to clean, pull rope, whatever, okay? Avoid doing this, okay? Because now you're creating a little bit more of an extra step for you to do. Okay, so I'm pulling back in like this, and I'm just dropping everything to the ground. Now I gotta come back over, make sure that nothing got tangled up, wrapped up, because if you have leaves, you have debris, whatever, goes back into the cube, that's gonna screw up your next shot if you didn't make it on that first one, okay? So right off the jump, when I begin to pull my throw weight up to clean, pull rope, whatever, I like to either stand right above my cube and feet in, or what I find that works best for me is I get down a little bit low, I kneel, a little bit, and I just begin to throw and flake back in here. I can easily control what's going on. If I need to drop, tighten, whatever, okay? That's something to pay attention to. It'll avoid headaches as you're working and reshooting, because there are days that you might be reshooting and reshooting, you know, but you gotta have patience. It's the big thing. You don't wanna just go all psycho and lose it, because it's not good. You're just gonna rage quit. That's all you're doing, okay? So nice and easy wins this race. I think I messed up my elbow. Okay, so that's the first method we're talking about. Next method we're gonna talk about is the trigger shot. That's right, the trigger, the slip knot, whatever you want to call it. It's a single-handed throw, and what we do here is you guide out, you measure out what length you want to throw, whether I'm short, whether I'm throwing a high distance or a short, okay? But whatever the case may be, so you're gonna find whatever you want. We're gonna make a slip knot, because the slip knot is gonna be your trigger, your method of pinching the throw line, you know, so that way you don't have to glove up, do nothing. Right now I could just hold it like this, and I'm pinching right on that slip, okay? And when you throw and you pull, the slip should, let me say that real good, should just pop loose, okay? I have had instances where my throw line is wet, and it just kind of gets to that point where it binds up just right, where if I go to pull it, it still doesn't pull that slip out clean. But my experiences. So it's the same thing. I'm gonna grab this end just in case I need to pull back for some targets. And I'm gonna visualize, and again, I'm gonna use my fingers to kind of be my guide. 1, 2, and we're back over, okay? Now it may look a little goofy, but it works. Oh, trust me, it works. And that's the same thing. I'm feeding directly back into the cube, just like I talked about. And boom, popping out. Feed everything back in. And look, no slip. The slip popped out almost all the way. See what I'm talking about? But I just gave it a quick little pop, and she slipped out completely. Next method. We're gonna glove up for this technique. Oh yeah. Whoosh. Oh, sorry. Okay, the reason I gloved up for this one is because I'm not gonna do a trigger shot, and I'm not going to do a basket. This one is another single-handed method. I've been playing around with this, and it's a little harder for me to get down with, just because I'm not a big single-handed thrower. I'm more of a grandpa shot. It's how I practice. I've always worked. It works better for me that way. However, I found this method to be a lot more accurate for me. It's just harder for me to work that single-handed method in this, but it's fantastic. It works. And again, I'm gonna put my cube here. And the reason for the glove is because FTC stiff line, the diameter that I'm using here is 1.6, and can at times, even if I'm holding it tight, I might let off a little bit of pressure, and now it's just slipped. All right, now it's just slipped. It slipped away, and I've lost that distance that length that I've actually tried to keep. So the glove, it's got that little bit of a grip here for me, so I can measure, and notice that the throw line is just draped over my index. And what I'm going to do is, with my 3 fingers that are free, I'm going to keep it down and I'm going to hold it like this. It kind of creates a hold, and I still pinch. Even then, I've still had it slipped on me without gloves. So now here, you can hold on to the throw line string, or you can let it go. It generally won't really tangle up, even if it looks like it is right now. When I release, it'll still go in the clear. So now, I'm still just working my pendulum motion. I'm not dragging it across the ground. I'm not working any jerking motions. It's all gotta be smooth. You gotta be smooth, player. Okay, so I'm getting my pendulum going, getting my motion, and release it when you visualize. So again, and if I wanted to go even higher, you know, I would definitely be swinging it a lot more further back, a lot further back. It's a lot gooder. And then I just whip that thing. Again, this is one of those things that I'm still practicing on with the single hand. But again, I found that the accuracy was pretty much on point. Now, there is a difference here in the two throw cubes that I'm using. So, Faltimer, classic, it's held up for a long time. Pop-up box, it's a little bit shorter. A little bit of a pro on these. On this one here is the added weight. So on a windy day, it hasn't flipped over as easily as this is. But, you know, it works. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. Oh, there. Oh, there. Okay. And up we go, up we go. And something else I should mention, as you're pulling up and to either pop or clean the throw weight through, avoid doing like pulling super fast, especially if you've overshot and you've gone through multiple different branches, because as you pull in, and if you're just pulling, you're reefing, you're hauling, you're trying to get back to, because you need to reshoot, it's getting late, whatever, you know, pull it nice and easy, because you're pulling fast, and as that throw weight flips through branch unions, you have a high possibility of just wrapping and wrapping and wrapping on that branch, or even half hitching onto it. You know, I've actually had that happen to me multiple times. And then you're standing there getting mad. Now you got to do the climb of shame or cut the throw weight and leave it. I didn't do that. But yeah, patience again, coming out. Another method that I'm going to cover, I'm going to take this glove off because I'm no longer going to use it. We're going to do another basket style chuck, throw, aventar, you know. We're going to take the bite, pass it back through the D-ring. Now in this one, it's not a traditional grandpa. It all goes back to your same hand, the same throwing hand, okay? So I've got my bite, I've got the end almost like a basket, like a granny shot. However, I'm just going to drape it back over. And that's right there. I don't know what the name for this one is, you know, but it works in enclosed areas. That's when I've used this one a lot. Like if I've got nowhere to really throw, I can't do my grandpa shot, I can't do the other single-handed shots, and I need to go almost straight to the sky, right? Chuck into the heavens there. So what I'll do is I'll opt for this throwing technique. It works really well. It's like a jet propelled engine, you know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to go to space. It's got that little bit of oomph because when you throw, and then she just sorry, excuse my language, I got excited. That frickin', it's like, you're going to the heavens, dude, that's all it is. My bad, I got a little excited. But again, this one though, I do tend to make sure that there's no crossover, because again, you're in a basket configuration. And I'm gonna straight shoot right to the sky. 1, 2, and oh my God, that was the luckiest shot I ever got in my life. But it's in, okay? Again, that works if you're gonna shoot almost straight directly up, jet propelled. Let's go with that, jet propelled method. And that pretty much covers it for technique, but here's a little something else, just in case you've overshot, you are through a whole bunch of debris, or you're at a competition and you don't want to be the guy that has a throw weight, a throw line, stuck. Now they have to pause everything, right? They have to pause everything because they got to go in and retrieve your throw weight. So one of the biggest things that I have come to learn and do is, instead of risking it for the biscuit, I'll take my sweet little time I'm going for something else, but I'll go that way. PG it, because my producer has said, PG that crap, son. Sometimes. Sometimes. And I'll come over here and I'll just take this throw weight off. Okay? Now, there's no chance of hang-ups, and there's also reduces that room. Like if you've got a car next to you, you're shooting by that car, and if you pop that thing back, let me tell you that this throw weight will do some damage. Don't try and catch it. Not good. Okay, another thing we have to talk about, throw line manipulation. Woo. Sorry. So, in the event that we need to manipulate the throw weight into the desired branch union and then double bag, this is a quick and easy way to do it. So in this instance, I overshot the branch union that I wanted, but as long as you know how to double bag, you don't necessarily have to pull everything out. There's also the flip method, but that one's a little bit more of a intricate, delicate thing to do. So here, what I'm going to utilize is this FTC pulsar. It's an 18 ounce, and it's a stiff rubber throw weight, throw bullet, whatever you want to call it. And the reason I'm going to use this is I'm going to attach it to the throw ball there, and I want this because as it hits, it's going to bounce, and it's going to help move it into the desired area that I want. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring this up. I'm just going to attach it to the D-ring. And one thing that I like to use in Throwline are screw gates. I don't use the simple action accessory carabiners because I have found that it doesn't always work. They unclip, you have throw weights falling down, possibly hitting people. So right now I'm going to get it to center, and I'm going to start pulling up. Now there's a little bit of sway action going on right now, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Now right here, I want to get this to bounce. So that's a bounce. Bounce again. It's getting momentum. And throw weight is all about finding that momentum. So sometimes you have to pull up, pull down. So that's a bounce. And if I can get it to go, then that's in right there. I'm going to do that one more time. Okay, so we're going to pull up, steadied out. I'm going to get a swing. You can either hit, bounce, whatever. But right now it's swinging. So as I hit there, I pull back hard, and I get this swing going. You know, sometimes you don't even need the double back. Sometimes that's all you need to do, and then flip everything through. But here, I'm going to steady it one more time. And then we are going to bounce her in. Or maybe on the other one. There we go. Okay. So now it's to the branch union on this side, which is clean. And now I'm going to commence my double bag. So here, so I can distinguish what's going on. I have two different throw weights, two different throw lines. You know, I can tell them apart really easily. You know, one's thinner, one's thicker, one's heavily abused, the other one is not, because this one is mainly more of my throw bag technique debaucheries. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this other mini carabiner. That's right. Now at this point, I can either choose to take off that 18 ounce pulsar, or I can leave it on. If you're dealing with trees that have that super hard bark and it's just not sliding down, you've got to use the bow trick to get that thing to come down, or you got to bounce it up and down slightly. You might want to leave it on just in case. So here I clip, I screw on, and these throw weights have that little pouch at the bottom, the little gap. I like using that for this stuff. So I'm gonna let that down, and I'm going to begin pulling on my Dynaglide side. Now I don't have to do anything with this just yet, but as I'm pulling up and I'm getting closer, this is where you can either have a second person help you, or in my experience, I like doing this myself because I know when to release, when to pull, when to start getting a pendulum motion going. When you work with somebody else, you got to be in tune with that other person, or it's just going to be more of a headache for you. But here, so if I want to get in there, I'm going to start doing a pendulum. And now here I can just begin to flip everything out, and when I install my rope, the whole thing will just flip through. So I'm going to do that one more time. And if I need to pull up on throw line, I pull on both. Pull on one and then pull on the other. So now here, we're back to center. Okay, because I could even go through the one above me that's a little bit higher if I wanted to. You know, and now I've isolated that one. You know, so throw line, the more you know, the better. And again, that's your double bag technique. It can be tedious at times, but it pays off in the end. So swinging, swinging. And now I've definitely isolated where I wanted to. And now it's at the ground. Now before you start disconnecting, pulling on one versus the other, I highly recommend taking the throw weight off of the shot of the throw line that has been overshot, not the one that you just isolated. So in this instance, I don't want to take off, I don't want to pull on my FTC throw line. I want this to stay because this is where I'm going to feed my rope through to isolate, okay? And again, this is just an example. I wouldn't tie into this right now at all, okay? But this was just an example of how to double bag. All right, so that has been all things, most things, throw line. Thanks for watching. Let us know if any of these tips helped you out. What do you do differently? Drop them down below in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like and the subscribe button. Check us out at bartlettman.com, or you can Google us, Bartlett Arborist Supply. Have a good one. Making my way downtown, walking by places past, and I'm homebound. I just picture Terry Crews every single time.